You have got to change the way you think. It is the whole determining factor of where you go in life. We are all where we are today because we thought ourselves to this position. If you don't like the position, think yourself out of it. Your brain is divided into two halves, positive and negative, good and evil. It don't function on nothing else. Ain't no neutral ground in your brain. It's either positive and good or negative and evil. Each half of your brain has millions of factory workers on each side. You got 1 million factory workers on the positive side. You got 1 million factory workers on the negative side. At the forefront of each one of those factories in your brain is a foreman. You got foreman positive and you got foreman negative. You are in charge. You're the boss of the factory. Guess what? We are how we think. You can't make a world, but you can make your own world. So now, since your brain is in two halves, let me show you how this works. You wake up in the morning and you say, man, I don't feel myself today. I got up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm not a morning person. Foreman negative hears that. He steps to the front. He said, what did you say? You say, I said I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I'm not myself. I'm not a morning person. He says, you got it right away. He said, hey, the boss just woke up and said he's not a morning person. He's having a bad day today, and he ain't feeling himself. Let's get to work. The 1 million factory workers start producing thoughts to justify what you just said. So now guess what? Man, I hate my alarm clock went off this morning. I got to get out here in this traffic. I will drive down here today. I don't even like these people on my job. I can't stand this car I'm finna get in this morning. Sure wish I had a new car, but I'm driving this ragged ass car. And on and on and on. And your day starts tumbling into what you ordered at the top of the day. You could wake up in the morning and you say, you know what? Today is going to be a great day today. I expect something really good to happen for me today. You say, what did you say? You say, I said I'm having a great day today. I expect something good to happen today. Foreman positive turns around and goes, all right, let me have your attention. Steve's having a great day today. He's expecting some wonderful things to happen. And man, let's get it going. And let's start manufacturing thoughts. Same brain. Man, I can't wait to go to work today. It may not be the job I want, but at least I got a job. I'm so grateful I got a car to drive to work today. Hey man, at least I got a check coming in. I appreciate the fact that I don't have a car, but at least I can walk to the train. Man, this is going to be great today. That's how your mind works 24/7. It never turns off. Change your attitude, you change your altitude.
It all depends on how you look at it. Our lives are mostly affected by the way we think things are, not the way they are. The way we think they are affects us most. And Shoke taught me that the mind is like a factory, a mental factory. And whatever you think about all day long pours ingredients into this mental factory. And that's what builds the economic, social, financial fabric of your life. As you think, so you become.
I was so sick of myself. I was so bored in my life, man. I was so tired of being mediocre. You ever say to yourself, man, there's got to be more to my life than this? If you've ever said that, that's because it is. If normal is getting on your nerves, then you got to change something. Being mediocre was driving me crazy. Poverty, I was sick of it. You can protect yourself from negativity. And that's what stops most people, negative thoughts. You can coat your mind from negativity. It's a real simple exercise to do. I do it every morning before I walk out the door. So I walk out as a positive person. You know, I get tired sometimes. That's different from being negative, because I get mentally drained from my job at times. But to coat your mind from negativity, the way you can put a coating around your mind is with one simple thing: gratitude. Gratitude erases negativity. I'm going to show you how this works. If you wake up in the morning and you start having negative thoughts, man, this ain't my day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm tripping. I just don't feel myself. Every time you feel, in the middle of the day, if you feel yourself doing that, stop. Just stop for a second. And start going over in your mind everything you have to be grateful for. Not everything you want. Everything you already have. Because what you have is substantial. You just haven't gone over the list and taken inventory in a long time. But the fact that you can walk, that's a blessing. The fact that you woke up, that's another blessing. The fact that you can see, think, reason, that's another blessing. The fact that you can go somewhere and get yourself something to eat, that's another blessing. The fact that you can go and turn the key and call someplace home, that's another blessing. The ability to dream is a blessing. The fact that you have an opportunity to get it right is another blessing. The fact that you're beautiful, that's another blessing. The fact that you have any measure of health, that's another blessing. And I'm just talking to you, I don't even know you. I could give you 50 things you ought to be grateful for right now. I don't even know you. Start coating your mind with gratitude. It'll change everything for you.
So we've all got to have a philosophy about activity. Because your philosophy of activity will affect the rest of your life. Not to think so is naive. I've got a good clue on rest. Make rest a necessity, not an objective. The reason for life is enterprise. The reason for life is productivity. The reason for life is to see what we can do with the seasons and the chances and our mind and our spirit, ourselves, to see what we can do. That's what life is all about, to see what you can do. Now the doing, you've got to have a philosophy on how much time you're going to spend doing. And I've decided that enterprise is better than ease. If you rest too long, the weeds take the garden in the summer. So you can't rest too long. Life doesn't stand still. And the threat of life will start overwhelming the values of life if you just let it go. So we've all got to have a philosophy about activity. Let me give you one of the best I know. Here's what it says. An ancient phrase says, whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. That's a philosophy. You say, well, I'm getting by with half my might. Well, okay, but you've got to decide on your own personal philosophy of activity. Now, this philosophy says, do it with all your might. Do you think there's any value or virtue in that? Well, I don't know. You've got to decide. You've got to weigh this out, right? You've got to evaluate it for yourself and put it on your own mental scales, and you've got to come up with your own answers. How hard should you work?
Your brain is like a supercomputer, and your self-talk is a program it will run. So if you tell yourself you're not good at remembering names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you programmed your supercomputer not to. Isn't that interesting? What I always tell people is this. You have to monitor your self-talk. Monitor your self-talk. If you go around tell people, oh, I have a horrible memory, I'm not smart enough, I'm getting too old, fill in the blank. First of all, if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. Does that make sense? A lot of people are like, oh, I'm so forgetful, I'm so busy, which that whole busyness really bothers me. Like where people, so how are you doing? I'm just so crazy, so stressed, so busy. It becomes like a badge of honor that people wear all the time. And then what do you start reinforcing? Being busy, right? But here, going back to this, your self-talk is the program that will run, so you want to be mindful, right? And stand guard to your mind, because your mind is always eavesdropping on your self-talk. Your mind is always eavesdropping on your self-talk.
Let's say you need a goal, but we don't want to let your distance from the goal crush you. So you got to set up a goal, and then you got to break the goal down into parts so that you can move towards it and you have a fairly high likelihood of doing it. So that's a bit of practical, I wouldn't say advice, it's because it's better than advice. It's some practical knowledge about how to go about achieving an aim. Set a high aim, but differentiate it down so you know what the next step is, and then make the next step difficult enough so you have to push yourself past where you are, but also provide yourself with a reasonable probability of success. It's also what you do with children, right? You want to push them because they need to grow up and be more than they are, right? But you don't want to crush them with constant failures. So what you do is aim high and make the goal difficult but proximal.
It's very important for you to believe that you are the one to make this happen. I remember this high school teacher, Mr. Leroy Washington, at the end of school one June, it was just a few days before we were supposed to leave. And I just got my report card. And it indicated that I'd failed history. And I'd failed English. And I would have to go to summer school. And I was feeling within myself that I was a failure, that I'm slower than most people in getting paperwork, and I was feeling down on myself and very negative. And Mr. Washington was giving a speech to the graduating seniors, and I was in 11th grade. And even though I wasn't supposed to be in there, I went in there because the speech he was giving, that speech was for me. And as he talked, my heart began to beat fast. Tears began to run by my eyes, and I was in the back just listening to him, because he said, and he was a very dramatic man. I still talk to him to this day. He said, as graduating seniors of Booker T. Washington High School, I want you to know that you're blessed and highly favored, and that as you go toward the future, begin to know that you have greatness within you. And if just one of you here begin to envision yourselves as being blessed and highly favored to reach your goals, if just one of you capture the essence of what that means, that you have greatness within you and a responsibility to manifest that greatness, that you can make your parents proud, you can make your school proud, you can touch millions of people's lives, and the world will never be the same again because you came this way. And the students gave him a rousing standing ovation. And as he left the auditorium, I ran down the steps and I caught him in the parking lot. I said, Mr. Washington? He said, yes. I said, do you remember me, sir? He said, no. I said, my name is Leslie Brown. My mother, she works in the cafeteria here. I'm one of the twins, Leslie and Wesley. I said, Mr. Washington, but you know, I got these big dreams. I like talking to people. I love people. I said, I want to work with people, and I got this dream of buying my mama a home. Could I do that, Mr. Washington? He said, it's possible, Mr. Brown. And as he walked away, I called him again. I said, Mr. Washington? He said, what do you want now? I said, I'm the one, sir. I said, I'm the one. You remember me, sir. I'm Miss Mamie Brown's boy. I'm the one.
Disgust says, I have had it. See, that could be the day. The day you can say, I've had it. May not be the day it ends, but the day it begins. I don't want to live like this anymore. I've had it with lying and being broke. The man's finally had it with mediocrity. He's finally had it with those awful sick feelings inside, knowing his wife is at the grocery store looking at 2 cans of beans, one marked 37 cents, one marked 39 cents. Do you know why she's going to buy the 37-cent can? To save 2 cents. The guy sick inside finally says, I've had it. Being on my knees in the dust looking for pennies? We're not living like this anymore. He walks into his closet and rips everything in it to shreds and says, I've worn this embarrassing stuff for the last. Commit an act that says, I've had it. What shall I do? Well, for progress, you must decide.
The first step is getting completely and brutally honest enough to say, I am tired of myself. That's the facilitator of change. That's when you're ready to say these words, no more excuses.
The best advice I can give you came from a wealthy friend of mine who said, if it's easy, do it easy. If it's hard, do it hard. Just get it done. I found this out many times after you've decided. Getting on with it is easier than deciding. Sometimes decision is the toughest part. Resolve says I will. 2 of the most powerful words in the language. I will. Shortly put, I'll do it or die. The world has a strange way of stepping aside when somebody says, I'll do it or die. The man says, I will climb the mountain. They've told me it's too high, it's too difficult, it's never been done before, but it's my mountain, I will climb it. Pretty soon you'll see me, waving from the top. Or dead on the side, because I ain't coming back. Promise yourself you will never give up. How long should a baby try to learn how to walk? How long? How long would you give your average baby before you shut him off? See, any mother in the world would say, "You're crazy. My baby's going to keep trying until it learns how to walk." What a magic formula.
And I'm saying to you, what if all of us took that attitude after we face a rejection and a no, or somebody say, "You can count on me," and they don't come through? Nobody believes in you. You've lost again and again and again, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day, and say to yourself, "It's not over until I win." So yes, it's possible for you to live your dream. It's necessary that you associate with winners, that you are relentless, that you never give up. You've got to make it your personal business to make it happen. And you've got to resolve within yourself that I can do this. I'm the one. I'm the one to make this happen. I'm the one to become successful in this business. The people that are living their dreams know that if it's going to happen, it's up to them. And they're resolving within themselves, it's not over until I win. I'm the one. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it.
Now, once you've accepted that you have as much right to succeed as anybody else, the next step is learning how to talk the talk. Surround yourself with people who've accomplished their dreams and immerse yourself in the culture of achievement. And before you know it, you're going to be speaking the life of your dreams into existence.
But a lot of people don't change themselves. They wait for change. The government to change, life to change. These poor unfortunate folks accept their defeats. Why? Because they refuse to take control of the situation. They refuse to take control of their life, their health, their finances. They refuse to take control and get sufficiently disgusted to change it. But if you are disgusted, then I have some words to offer you. Your present failure is a temporary condition. You will rebound from failure just as surely as you gravitated into failure. I firmly believe that you're only given as much as you can handle, as much negativity, as much disappointment. This too shall pass. If you pull yourself up and move back into the world with a plan, you can go where you want to go. You can do what you want to do. You can do it all, starting now, starting right where you are. You've got to keep trying and trying. You've got to have enough resolve to do it until. Make your disgust lead to inspiration, not depression. The world will willingly sit by and let you wallow in your sorrows. And here's what else the world will do. The world will step aside and let you by. Once you decide that your present situation is only temporary. The world doesn't care which choice you make, to stop here or to go on. So you have to. You have to care. Keep your eyes firmly on the achievement, on your ambition, and not merely existence and self-pity. Success is something you attract by the person you become. To attract attractive people, you must be attractive. To attract committed people, you must be committed. Instead of going to work on them, you go to work on yourself. And if you become, you can attract. The key is to make yourself attractive. The key is to make yourself skillful, powerful, unique, sophisticated, in control, healthy. The whole key really to the future is personal development. The greatest gift you can give is your own personal development. If I become 10 times wiser, 10 times brighter, think of what that will do for my success. Think of what that will do for my future. And the only way to make a better and better investment in your future is to become better and wiser and more competent. And the more attractive you are, the more you attract success. Self-investment attracts success. That's powerful.
You have got to change the way you think. It is the whole determining factor of where you go in life. We are all where we are today because we thought ourselves to this opposition. If you don't like the positions, think yourself out of it. Your brain is divided into two halves, positive and negative, good and evil. I don't function on nothing else. Ain't no natural around in your brain. It's either positive and good or negative and evil. Each half of your brain has millions of factory workers on each side. I've got a million factory workers on the positive side. You got a million factory workers on the negative side. At the forefront of each of those factories in your brain is a forming you got from and positive and you will got from and negative. You are in charge. You are the boss of the factory. Guess what? We are how we think. We cannot make a word but can make your own word. So now, since your brain is in two halves, let me show you how it works. You wake up in the morning and you say, man, I don't feel myself today. I got up on the wrong side of the bed. I am not a morning person. Forming negative. Here's that they step to the front of the stage. What did you say? You said, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed day. I am not myself. I am not morning person. He says you got it right away side as he was like wake up and said he's not a morning person. I have a bad day today. And he failed himself. Let's get to work.